Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to talk about steelbooks and are they overrated? Yes, I change my mind like the bloody weather when it comes to steelbooks, to be honest. I am very open about that. I am somebody that likes a cheap bargain, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to steelbooks, it's a very difficult sell for me. Some steelbooks you cannot get, they're very exclusive. This one here, French one, can't get this in the UK. Some steelbooks you can pick up pretty cheap, £6 at CEX. Sometimes £9.99 brand new on Zavi. And some steelbooks, well, you just have a special memory about a certain film and, you just want to get something a bit special to make it a bit more of an occasion. That is how I very much break down steelbooks. But are steelbooks overrated? One of the first things to consider is price versus value. Steelbooks often cost significantly more than, of course, a standard Blu-ray film behind me. And the only thing you're basically paying for when it comes to a steelbook versus an Blu-ray is basically that packaging, is the fact that it is a steelbook. The metal effect, the design, the uniqueness, the limitedness of it, that is what you're paying for. And of course, when it comes to price, if they are very limited, especially, then that means they can be worth a lot more in, many months to come, of course, after the release, because they become significantly harder to get because they're clearly not available. Whereas an Blu-ray of movies you can pretty much pick up all the time. They do multiple different runs of, might have a slipcover in the first couple of months, but then after that, it won't. But you can pick up the movie most places, and there's definitely a lot more copies out there, especially in things like the used and CEX markets and whatnot. One thing that many people think, though, is steelbooks look great on the shelf, and I actually disagree with this. I do think Blu-rays look better with their, slipcovers. Personally, like all of these, they look much more like poppier than the steelbook design. I'm not too much a fan of the steelbook spine design, but that's just personal preference. But the artwork of a steelbook can be very unique, and a lot of the times much better than the Blu-ray. Like Rocketman here, for instance, the artwork for this one is much better than the Blu-ray that we had, of course, for this film. As with everything, though, some designs can be very lazy, and there's been things where like the title is not on the front of the film and whatnot. But all the ones that I have picked out here, I think, are really nice looking steelbook designs, in terms of in this video here. There is also a thing with steelbooks where it's, like I said previously, with the limited runs and stuff like that, and the FOMO, fear of missing out, of course. Things like this, this is a very unique piece. I got this on Amazon France. It is was a French release, of course. It's very limited, of course, in the sense that they only released this in certain markets, which obviously then, I guess, makes this more of an appealing product because they didn't release one in the UK. So, more people like the UK collectors like myself that want it will go to the other markets to get it, and again, increase that inflation. And we had that recently with things like the Kingdom of Heaven steelbook. I think in America, they only had the steelbook sold out pretty quickly. We had a release here, of course, and that went out really quickly because a lot of Americans probably came here to buy the release that they didn't get, of course, in the States. But one of the biggest things that's really put me off a steelbook is the durability and practicality. It's always the same thing when you order a steelbook and it gets to the first thing you do, you get the package and you're like, is it in good condition? Does it have a spine slash? Don't get me wrong, Blu-rays can have spine slashes, but does it have this? Does it have that? Is it dented? Has Amazon packaged it correctly? Has HMV packaged it correctly? Has Zavi actually, changed their packaging? It causes a bit of an anxiety for some people, and a lot of people can't be bothered to deal with it. It is so easy to damage a steelbook. I honestly could just probably drop this little plastic mouse here on this and it would dent it if I dropped it, from a significant height. These are very fragile pieces. If you, God forbid, you're sorting out your shelf once or twice and, one of the shelves fall off and all of them fall, chances are they could be dented. And that significantly, decreases the value of the items. But also, is it worth it then? Is it worth having a steelbook? Personally, for me, I am not a fan of a steelbook for everything. I only get a steelbook, similar to what I said at the beginning, for something that is a special film to myself. Something that I really like, really want to get a different version to everyone else and kind of have a bit of a, look what I have kind of thing. But also, if there's films that really I enjoyed, I'm going to get the best version that I can. Or also, in some instances, you can get films like Sinners here, where everyone was raving about the steelbook, but I actually preferred the Blu-ray. And Also, the slipcover was very limited, and I actually managed to get a slipcover. So there is times where it can go the other way, if that makes sense. But I just don't know if it's worth it. Is it worth that anxiety of, you know, is it going to be delivered okay? And if I'm buying it on Vinted or eBay or online on Facebook from someone, oh, make sure you package it correctly, because, you know, all the Royal Mailman has to do is post it through my letterbox and it could be dented. When at the end of the day, all they're doing is their job. Do you know what I mean? So it has to be packaged in a particular way, and it has to be cared for in a particular way. And that's kind of why I kind of gatekeep steelbooks for certain things. So I only get a steelbook if, like I said, it's a film that I really enjoy, or it's an edition that I can't get in the UK and I really would like it because I like the film. So obviously I've got to like the film. That's one of the things. Or if it's Star Wars related, which I've started to collect up there, Marvel related or DC related. That is it. I won't get a steelbook for anything else. There might be the odd really nice set, like I've got the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit steelbook tin sets over there. There might be the odd set that comes out and I might think twice about it. And also, of course, I have been gifted items. So I've been gifted these 2 steelbooks recently, of course, from the studio. So there is opportunities to get, you know, films sent to you, especially if you're like a creator like myself. But other than that, that is it. Most of the time for me, you got to go back to why do you collect? There is people out there, you're talking to you guys directly, that will only get the big box sets. They'll only get the Second Sight box sets or the Arrow box sets or like a really nice box set because they want all the stuff inside it, and that's fine. I personally don't care about stuff. I want to have the film on my shelf because I want to use the technology that I've invested in to be able to watch the films in the best quality that I can. And all I need is the disc. That's it. And if it comes with a slipcover every now and again, that's great. Or if it's something that really, really, really means a lot to me, or Star Wars, or Marvel, or DC, then of course I have my own separate little collections. And that's what steelbooks mean to me, really. They're pointless for everything, in my opinion. But sometimes you can also go into a CEX and a steelbook is cheaper than the Blu-ray, which is like this case. But as I say, some people are very, very like particular about steelbooks and, you know, very like anal about it, I suppose. And it has to be a particular way. I'm not personally one of those. And I'm really curious to see if any of my viewers are as well. Do you have a massive steelbook collection? Are you a big steelbook collector? Do you have the same kind of thoughts as me? Are you just anti-steelbook, like had a bad experience with it and you just never collect steelbooks ever again? Let me know your thoughts down below. Really interested to know what kind of vibe you guys are in terms of steelbooks. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more videos coming soon. And of course, see ya in the next one. Goodbye.